Ben, tell me a story.
I'm here for you, Ron. I'm here for you. Okay, imagine this. Somewhere in Carlton, Melbourne,
I can see it.
there's a cafe. And downstairs, there's a fully automated machine right alongside a fully manual one. This isn't a mistake. It's not like a midterm gap fill here. And then in the same place, upstairs, when it opens, it'll all be manual. No automation at all.
What?
Same owner.
What is this magical place that you speak of?
Well, we should definitely find out about this. But yeah, two different kind of approaches to, I think, the same cafe question.
Yeah, we've been having this conversation a lot. It's this battle of like automated and made by hands. And I feel like the industry kind of wants you to pick sides, like which side of this battle you're on. But the person who has built this has decided they're just going to do both. And why not embrace everything? I'm your host, Rowan Cook. I make coffee on the internet.
And I'm Ben Bicknell. I judge people who make coffee, but only at competitions.
And together we are It's Just Coffee! The podcast for people who know it's never just coffee.
And today we are joined by none other than the amazing Alicia Feng. She owns so many cool places. Welcome, Alicia.
Hello, everyone.
And it's amazing that she managed to take out the busy time to join us here in the studio because she owns Calēre coffee in the Fitzroy.
So good.
Co-founded Chiaki.
So good.
Again, in Collingwood, which just won the Age Good Food Best Cafe of the Year award, right? Amazing.
Pretty good.
And has just launched this new cafe that we're talking about, Atelier Enso, in the suburb of Carlton. And we just described it, and it's just merging all of that automation and handcrafting.
You are way too cool. Like it's annoying. Like when you just list out all those places, it's like literally all the coolest spots that everyone's like lining up to get into. Like I know when Chiaki opened, I was just like right down the road, and it was like so hard to get in, but they were so lovely when you did. It's so good.
Today's episode is sponsored by our friends at Apex Lab.
If you listen to this podcast, you know Apex Lab mineral concentrates.
Yeah, these are the products that are used by world champions to unlock the full potential of their coffees.
But they've actually just released a new crazy product called Conflux. This is water that's been hit with ultra-low frequency electromagnetic waves.
It does sound crazy, but I actually saw some competitors use this technology at the World Barista Championships.
Look, I thought it sounded ridiculous, but till we did some tests here in the office, I could actually taste the difference. There was more body, there was more sweetness. And hey, if you're a critic or you're skeptical, I dare you to try it. See if there's a difference or not.
Yep. Visit apexlab.com and you be the judge.
Atelier Enso, where's the name come from?
The name comes from, I think, my two backgrounds. First of all, before I start coffee, I am actually a French translator.
Oh.
So I always love a studio kind of vibe because I'm a person with a lot of ideas. I like to create. So atelier is always in my mind. Then I think it combines with coffee, which is also another art. So Enso comes with my recent background that I start to practice a lot in meditation, in Zen practice, and I'm a Buddhist. So Enso means, so it's like a circle. For me, it means living at the moment. So you draw your Enso in your different moment of life and it all looks different. And everyone have your own Enso in your different time of life. So basically we are drawing Enso all the time of our life. So Atelier is a creation. Enso is also a creation. And Enso has no end of the circle. So that means it embraces everything. It's not a full round and it's imperfect, but it's perfectly imperfect. So there we go.
I'm just feeling calmer already. This is amazing. I feel like we've just hit on the secret that we're going to dig into. We just listed off 3 cafes that she owns and she's on bar a lot and doing all of the other things at cafe ownership and she's so chill. So I think we've just struck on how she manages that. I want to know. Give me some chill.
Now, before we dive into your wonderful world of creation and everything that you're making, I kind of love to always get like a little step back for the guests, like where it all kind of began. Now, can you take us back to when you first started drinking coffee? Were you in Hainan drinking a sweet instant coffee? And when was the moment that we went from instant coffee to kind of finding the love for specialty coffee?
Actually, when I was in Hainan, where I grew up, where we grow a lot of Robusta dark and Liberica also that I actually found out later. I don't drink much coffee there. It's quite sweet and it's very strong. So it's something that we drink it as for nowadays, like signature drink. So we don't drink it every day. I didn't really have that much connected to the coffee culture back home. And then later when I come to Australia, I still don't drink coffee. But when I started, it was because coffee was kind of like the bridge between me as a new immigrant to the country that everyone drinks coffee, everyone loves coffee. When we're at uni, when there's uni break, people go, let's go for coffee. I was like, I don't drink coffee, but sure, I'll join. So that is actually my kind of first touch and connection with locals here, with the culture here. So I started to get feeling very curious about it. But now thinking back, I don't think it's the drink itself. It's more of the human connections that already starting rooted from that time until now.
That's cool. That almost touches on the discussion Ron and I had recently talking about the idea of the third place. We didn't quite dive into that, but it's kind of an interesting angle of coffee and cafes being kind of a low barrier to entry for all kinds of different community coming together. And like the migrant community, it's the same even when you're traveling, right? You're like, oh, where am I going to go and feel just really at home? I'm just going to go and grab a coffee at a cafe. And it's like, oh, suddenly I feel a bit like the part of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like some of that nighttime stuff is, I saw a guy on Instagram the other day out the front of the State Library, and he was like talking about Melbourne being dead after kind of like 9 p.m. and wanting that kind of like where he was from. He's like, we would go out late and have dessert and do this. And now as uni students, we don't have that. And so they're actually starting like a late night kind of dessert spot for that. And I was like, that's such a nice like kind of tie into as well, that coming off our third place conversation, I thought that was a cool way of looking at it too.
Yeah. All right. So let's set your cafes aside for just a moment because we're going to deep dive into those. But is there anything that's happening in the specialty coffee world at the moment, either in Melbourne or further afield, that is getting you really excited?
So I think what I feel now, what I really enjoy by traveling the world, drinking different coffee, having the opportunity to judge competition and meeting so many people, what I feel so different and so amazing is that the coffee world is now so open, very open-minded. There are so many different types. There was no really a thing about what's wrong, what's right, what's the traditional standard, it has to be done this way. No, I think our generation grows, a new generation comes up. There are so many new ideas from farming, from processing, from brewing, from crazy tours. Everything is very open and everyone has, I think every part has its own audience now. And then we just see the energy booming, which I really, really like that diversity.
I love that it's, that you're seeing the flexibility and the openness to it, because I think historically specialty coffee's had some little problems of saying, no, this is the right way, this is the wrong way, you're in or you're out.
Yes.
So it's nice that that's relaxing a bit more.
So talking about Atelier Enso for a second. So when we started kind of digging in, I guess from the outside, when you're first looking at it, maybe you start going like automated cafe or like this is the cafe that's doing it differently, but that's not really the full picture. I think that's just the new piece of tech that's kind of getting the highlight or the main amount of attention, because downstairs we've got full automation next to, you know, a mod bar doing things. And then upstairs we're going into full manual. Can you talk us through why you wanted these to exist under one roof and kind of in harmony together?
So I feel like for the past few years, there was, in our industry, there are so much fighting. And then about automation, about AI is going to take our job, about manual is lost. It's just so much fighting of what I've seen. That's why, like, it's unnecessary, because tools or AI intelligence are here to help us to deliver a different or better experience for whoever comes into the door, or even for ourselves. So I feel this fighting is just like, well, why is it there? Why don't we just put them together with different intention? And I just wanted to embrace everything, and also for myself, for my team, and maybe people who are around us, who trust us to explore a new world of how we can make things happen.
Well, I have to say, I think with this whole debate around automation and AI, I have to say, like, thank you from the side of the specialty community, because for a long time, as we have been arguing, there are the people who hate it and there are those that are saying, no, it'll help us increase our hospitality. It'll be more of a sensory experience. The barista will be able to take you on more of a journey. And I think that's all well and good to say. This is amongst one of the first few cafes that are doing it, that I truly believe that's what is at the heart of it. It isn't to be faster, to make more money, to remove staff. It is to increase the hospitality, increase the service and the overall experience. So I think we need these kind of touch points, these kind of cafes that can kind of start to show how it can be done for the rest of the specialty community. And obviously you'll have a lot of learning over the next little while. It's not,
sure.
there's
You're like,
no,
no, you
you
got
got
it sorted.
It means a lot.
But it's kind of like, you know, you're kind of jumping in and taking it on, and people are going to learn so much from you as you do it. And then just so people who are listening can kind of understand, can you break down for us like exactly what you have in the cafe, what you've set it up with, what's automated, what isn't?
Okay, sure. So first of all, when you enter into the door, normally you look things around from left to right. On the left, we have 2 X-Bloom machine alongside with 3 grinders, home grinders from Optional. On the right side, the first thing you generally will see is the Eversys Cameo. That's a one group Cameo, which is actually lower than the bench that we designed. Normally bench were like this, but it was much lower because we wanted to open the space up so people can see us, and then we see our customer also. And then you will see 1 group malt bar, and then 1 steam warm from malt bar, and 2 link bar on the other side. That is in between the upstairs and the inside.
And the link is basically the dispense system,
Yes.
right?
So link bar, we've got 2. One is espresso model, one is the tea model. So these 2 of them, they do a slightly different things to the coffee. It's a dispenser, but I think what makes it amazing is it adds aeration into the liquid. So it's not just dispensing the liquid. So they make it better and creamier and gentle, easy to drink.
That's kind of, I mean, it's maybe a little bit different, but like when we were doing Hoffman's Better Americano, where he steams it, it's kind of like that idea of putting dissolved gases into the drink to give it a lighter, creamier texture and that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's pretty much a similar approach in there. So
Yeah, that's cool. So you've got like a few different automation pieces in there. I think that the easy thing that the industry talks about, the automatic thing, see what I did there? That where you go to when we I was building right up to that. All right. That's the automatic thing that the industry goes to when thinking about automation is speed, right? Speed and kind of like turning it through, getting faster service, more covers, you know, less labor expense probably. But I think that's kind of the least interesting part of the conversation about what you've implemented there. What do you see automation genuinely buying for a cafe beyond that speed of service? And I guess like if you were just doing speed of service change, does it really alter much at all?
I really believe the speed and efficiency is the least important thing. And it's the last thing I would consider for using automation. Firstly, when I wanted to use automation was, of course, I'm curious. Like, oh, what is that? I want to try out a new couture. And then I went to the distributor, give it a try, just the coffee that we normally have in Calēre at that time, just to compare, how good or how bad it can be. And actually turns out I'm so surprised. Like the sweet spot of the espresso are actually pretty big. All of the coffee made out from the machine is quite sweet. So that was the first thing that triggers me like, why? Why is that? So then I started to looking in more, how does it extract? So the extraction way, how the design makes a difference. But don't worry about all of those. Those are just, I think, just curiosity of technology. But what actually really triggers me along these few years of being a cafe owner who actually stand behind the machine is our own well-being. So physically well-being and mentally well-being. Physically, you need to knock out how many shots of the cake, bang, bang, and then pressing buttons. So I do really have very painful arms at night the busier I get, the more painful I am. Not painful in my bank, but painful in my body and my mind. So
it's a correlation.
So there would be night that I wake up and feel painful. I couldn't sleep. So of course, if we are like that, it's not sustainable to create more whatever we wanted to do. So physically, no. And mentally, because we all know to achieve to a certain quality of the coffee, it took long time to train ourselves and our staff to achieve a consistency, which is actually one of the most important thing when customers come into the door. They are looking for consistent, high quality products. So these are both, they come from both ends of me, like, oh, what do I do to live longer? I wanted to do more fun things. So then I realized that the automation now in Enso have largely taken off my, I guess, release my stress of quality of the product. So number one is quality. The quality is 100% so much better, and I have less worry about that. So because energy is always equal, right? So once you have this energy that it's been taken off, means now I have more time that I can think about as a human, as an operator, as a barista. What is our capacity that we can elevate the experience? So that comes to second. So yes, definitely speed and efficiency are the results of this, but they are not our first consideration.
I mean, it's pretty great looking at it from a standpoint of well-being, not only for yourself, but for the staff, of like being able to be more present, especially in a place where you're meant to be creating an experience for the customers, that you probably need to be in a pretty good space yourself. Because I often say, like, as soon as you're in a cafe with a bad owner operator, because like I would say that's generally when the staff are rude
vibes,
and the vibes are off. It's because there's something more rotten at the core that's kind of happening. As
which they might not intend.
Extreme. I just mean like there's something that, there's people aren't happy, or they're overworked, or they're burnt out.
Yeah, your energy influences all the people around you, and especially as a leader of a team, you're kind of setting the tone.
Yes.
So
exactly.
So I think for people listening to this, there's probably a lot of people now looking at automation, thinking about, do I need it for my cafe? For someone planning a brand new cafe from scratch, what's the one thing you'd tell them to figure out first before they actually decide on what to automate?
First thing I would suggest is that, why do you want automation first? What are you looking for? Like some people is looking for, so I'm going to save one staff. If that's what you think, maybe have more thinking about that. I do not think we save any labors in our new venue. So I think it's a very rude question, not just about automation, but it just in general. Why do you want to open this cafe? Because if that is not clear, then whatever your decision later will impact. So maybe some people want automation in a service station, or in a fast 1,000 cup a day, a very small bar. I really need a pump up. Then sure, then efficiency. If you're not sure, I would suggest to maybe rent one. Give it a try. You don't lose anything anyway. So I'm always an open-minded person. So I think unless you try, you wouldn't know. There's no need to assume or to guess. Just rent it and try. So yeah, that's the first piece I will suggest. Think about why you need it. You need it for what? You need it for service, or you need it for more time for your barista, or you just need it speed out. So yeah.
What was one of the biggest changes that you were surprised about as you started implementing automation in your cafes, that you're like, oh, I didn't realize I would have to shift my approach to something?
I think the biggest thing, I kind of expect that, but not in fully. So we, of course, suddenly have some time. Like, so I have time. That's weird. It's really weird. Like you feel like my hand is not so busy. And then the space become very quiet, which is great, which is what I didn't expect that. I just expect it to be a consistent and good product and saving time, so I can, or my team can read the room to read people what they need so they can go. But then it actually creates a much quieter vibe than what we really love as an addition for the experience. But then also the barista that we are operating, they get so much question that people come and go to the machine, stand on the side asking, oh, how does this do? Oh, this is so cool. I've never seen it before. This is so new. And that also very new to me because it's been around for so many years. And then we only just starting to discover the role of barista. They started to realize how we are living in a very small or the world that we just don't know what's happening outside of specialty coffee. There are so many great things that we can explore. So yeah.
That's cool. I did want to ask about that. Is the role of the barista dying? Or at least is it radically shifting and we need to come up with a new name for it?
I think, first of all, our definition of the role of barista, what is that?
Yeah.
First of all, like what do we see ourselves as a value be a barista? Are we dialing the coffee? We pressing the button? We use a scale? We distributing the coffee? We temping the coffee correctly? And then in whatever. So this is a very technical. So these are fundamental for having a good coffee. But what's the role of barista, first of all? If we only see ourselves as a barista to what I mentioned before for those technical, then absolutely this is dying. We are human. So human can do so much more beyond technology. First of all, we're in a hospitality industry. We need to be hospitality and great service. And making, for me, importantly is a meaningful human connection. And also on daily life, then we, as a barista, we also need to, I guess, care about sensory experience for the drinks, but not only the drinks. Sensory is about everything around you. So the role of barista, technically, that's die. However, I think barista is now they are the brand ambassador. So yeah, the brand ambassador taking care of everything about the brand, your environment, how does your customer feel? How was your service? Can you read what they need? The machine doesn't read what people gonna drink. So you are the person connected and tell the machine what I want this drink to be. So yeah. Technically die, but not really.
But rebirth.
Or at least redefine. Because
yes.
like in the dictionary, barista is literally like someone who makes and serves coffee, brackets, like espresso.
It's like, well, you're taking the makes part out and now it's the served.
Yeah, or understands. And like all those different sides to it.
Yeah.
Is your staff, if we're talking about those definitions, is the roles kind of blurring more? Like, are you finding that like, it's not like my floor staff and baristas, it's kind of like, they're all brand ambassadors.
Yeah, I think Enso definitely that's become a new kind of thing for everyone that I feel very excited about. And for them, maybe a bit nervous about. We're all nervous and excited about that. So yes, it's blurry. So now typically in Enso, we have 4 roles. Host number 1, host number 2, a barista who is behind the emphasis machine and dishwasher and wiping everything. And the other one is a dedicated in explore area, which is our brewer. So pretty much this is the 4 roles that we are forming now based on our workflow, our design, our machines and the service. But all of these 4 roles will get to ask enormous different type of question about coffee, about service, about what do you think about the automation? Do you miss making coffee in the bar, knocking the knock box? All of these questions. So yes, everyone is now ambassador.
Interesting. So look, 5 years into the future,
Yes.
you're exploring automation here. What are some of the top skills that a barista you think will need to have in this new environment?
Sensory ability in terms of the drink and also in terms of the whole environment, that to understand the energy of the room. So the thing that I tell my team the most nowadays is that stop, read the room for 30 seconds and now you decide what you do next, and stop, taste the coffee and then decide what you want to do next. So the sensory, but in all aspect.
That's cool.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. Stop and read the room. It's kind of like, back when I was working in cafes, which was a long time ago. But, there was that, talked about that, having that hospitality sixth sense of like someone scanning the room and knowing like, oh, I need to pick up the dishes there. That person's just walk in, greet them. And, there's that constant moving of your eye and checking out what the next stage is.
Does this person care that this is a single origin coffee from Ethiopia, or do I just give it to them and walk away?
Exactly. And I think, but your framing there of actually stop, assess, and then plan is a lot better than mine. Like ping, ping, ping. I was like a ping pong, just going around the room.
But we all went to that stage. I want to get things done. I want to get more sales. One more transaction. But
it's interesting because I think we've been having as an industry a lot of these conversations about automation, and there's flows into things like pre-batching of espresso and things like that as well. And there was a debate that Barista Hustle put on in Brussels around this kind of pre-batch espresso for and against, right? My feeling on it has been like it's not inherently bad, but it's also potentially a slippery slope where it is the kind of the death of the barista craft, but maybe the birth of barista service, which hasn't historically been it. But we historically haven't been very good at that. It's only the rare few places or, it might be like the 5% of your customers that come in that you stop churning out lattes and cappuccinos and just turning out cups of coffee and stop and have a more in-depth conversation. And often there's like one person in the whole cafe who can do that. So I think we really need to build those skills.
And it's the time thing that you talked about as well. Like most cafe operators and owners are on the floor, running around, working 10-hour days. Where's the time to sit down and have the team meeting and run the principles and what you believe in and what the core things of your mission as a cafe is, and teaching people like, this is how we react when this, stop, read the room, all these elements about like actually creating the experience rather than just surviving in the cafe.
Flourishing, not surviving.
Hey, love that.
But I think I want to kind of change direction a little bit in it's kind of a related conversation, but I want to talk about pricing, right? Because it's something that it's on every cafe owner's mind. I know we've talked about it a lot on the podcast. Rowan's probably tired of talking about it a little bit. But look, we know like wages are up, rents are going up, all of the costs of ingredients are going up, like milk, power. But so many cafe owners are still scared to raise the prices for the cups of coffee to kind of match that. Why do you think our industry is so nervous about charging what a coffee is actually worth?
I think this is maybe been a long time problem that we as our industry always have, that we generally always not looking after ourselves. So we devalue ourselves. So when you devalue yourself, you will be not firm on, because you don't value yourself. When people questioning you, you will be like, oh yes, maybe I shouldn't do that. That was because we did, I think as an industry, we lost our health and lost our faith.
I love these. Such a considered, thoughtful response, Alicia. You're right that so many cafe owners understandably feel, challenged or stressed about saying, oh, if I up this price for the coffee, customers might leave. I say this with the caveat that I don't own a cafe. So, but often so many places when they do raise the price up, customers like, oh, why'd you do that? Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. And there's very little poor repercussions out of it.
Yeah. How much do you think comes down to the offering and that though? Because I would look at Calēre and I'd say you have some truly competition grade coffees and some of them come with that higher price tag. But you guys have been running and succeeding for years and people keep coming back and loving it. What is it about? I'm sure you've lifted the price there sometimes. What do you think it is about what you're doing that makes people value it and appreciate it even at that higher price tag?
I think first of all, maybe it comes to, I like to bring things that's different. First of all, that's different to other places. Well, there are always people with curious. So the curious people will always come to us because they know I will be a lot of the time doing very crazy thing in the bar. I might just not market it. I didn't post it, but they knew they're in here. We will be able to give them something different. So I think differentiation is one thing that could set yourself different and then having your own price point. But why do they actually keep coming back also possibly is how we make them feel. Maybe they feel happy. They feel looked after. They feel fun. they feel whenever in their life stage, they feel different. So that's where I think the value of us and actually the value of every operators should look into. What do you have to bring to the people? If you don't look after yourself, you don't value yourself, you will be questioning yourself when you need to put a 50 cents up for a cup. Why not just do it?
Yeah.
You have so much effort, value yourself.
And I think so much of that value comes from, if I look at you, I think the coffees that you're getting, deeply about them, what they are, what the experience is. And so there's that confidence and value in yourself to be like, this is worth that.
Yes.
When it comes to an owner operator, maybe they feel the confidence, but they haven't passed that confidence on to their staff who have to stand there and have the person question why it's 50 cents more.
Yeah.
And so it's creating that joint group understanding, and maybe it's what you're talking about with automation, time to communicate with your staff, understand the coffees, really fall in love with the coffees, to kind of have that understanding of like, no, this is worth that because of this. And sometimes I think it's just communication. Sometimes I think you go to pay and it costs 50 cents more and you say why, whereas if maybe at the start there's a little bit, I know Dan Dick literally just had a little thing up at the register that said like, because of XYZ, we're now charging 50 cents extra. He's like, I didn't have one person ever question that it costs more.
Yeah. If they do question, it's okay. I'm curious too. I always ask questions. So just having your valid reason. And I think there's one interesting thing that I always see in the statement of increasing price, always start from, unfortunately, we need to write like, why unfortunately? It is what it is. Just like, okay, we're just going to
it kind of has an emotional thing added
because
to it.
it puts such a negative feeling at the beginning from psychology. You see, unfortunately, this is not a good thing. Yeah. But yes, I think even if
because we're serving the best coffees and supporting this amazing
we're serving the best coffee. No.
Unfortunately, the best coffees.
Yeah. So I think our language in the industry maybe could shift to more positive. That will help the perception of what customers sees also.
At least more confident, I guess.
Exactly.
Like you need to have an intentionality to what you're doing as well. And I think there's a healthy balance between questioning yourself of like, am I offering the best value to my customer? Am I doing what I believe in? Like, why am I doing this? So like self-questioning and then going, I feel like I've got clear answers. We need to do this to be profitable and to do the high quality. Are we doing high quality? Yes, we are. We're investing in the right things. Yes. And when you feel that confidence, then you go, great, this is what we're going to do. And I have a good foundation. And maybe that's a good tip for some cafe owners is kind of just thinking back. It's like, what do you believe in? What does it cost to deliver that? Do you think that that's what you really care about? And if so, then price it kind of accordingly.
Yeah, do it. And then also because I think as you mentioned before, which is really amazing, that this message and your confidence need to pass on to your staff. And how do they receive that is they have confidence and they believe in what you want to do. And also you look after them. They're not physically and mentally tired. So automation comes in help at this point. So all of this energy need to pass on to the team. So then the team are confidently to deliver the value of your business to whoever walk into your door.
That's great. You're talking a lot about your staff and your team, which is awesome. You spent a lot of time before you got into your own venues. You were actually training baristas and doing a lot of things at St. Ali, another kind of famous Melbourne institution. And I think that a lot of cafe owners have hired barista staff who are great at the making, at the physical craft, the technical elements, but just goes completely blank the moment a customer asks them a question about coffee or the interaction there.
Yes.
What do you think is kind of some of the most common mistakes that owners make when they're trying to build that deeper coffee knowledge and passion in their team?
This is not about knowledge. I feel this is more about how they make their team feel. So from my past experiences with my team, which is very interesting, majority of my team, they are not come to me at that stage is a professional barista. Majority of them, when I encounter them, they are just beautiful people, nice people, love to chat, very positive, very care. They don't know how to make coffee. Yeah, majority of my team are like that, actually. So from this, I think looking back now, I don't think the knowledge of this farm come from this elevation with this variety, tastes like floral. It's the best coffee in the world. This doesn't matter to them if they don't feel they've been looked after, if they don't feel they feeling good in this venue. All this knowledge, it doesn't come to your heart. It come to the left ear and go out. And also I forget. What did you say last time? I forget because I'm not connected. And if I'm not connected to you, I'm not connected to your company and this good quality of the coffee. I can't remember any of them. And of course, because I can't remember, I can't deliver. So I don't think giving them the deep knowledge is that important, is to making them feel great, look after your people when they are connected. They are happy. They will bring the happy energy, maybe from one part of the coffee that make them happy to the rest of the people.
I guess it ties into that Enso element that you were talking about of like the full circle, and it's like karma staff equals karma experience, and it creates like a full loop. Is that kind of what's trying to be implemented there?
I think it's pretty much every venue reflects my life stages differently. So at this point, I do feel that there is so much fighting. There's so much picking side. I need to prove I'm right. I need to prove you're wrong. So it's so much of this in our industry, which creates no balance. So importantly is to really slow down, because I think our society now, we can see there are so many anxiety, and barista, newer generation, they will be more like, I don't feel good. I'm not coming to work. You can't talk to me like this. How can you? All of this. I think a lot of operators would experience this now. So more importantly, it's not really about the product itself. It's really about looking after everyone's well-being. And if you are well, your customer walking to the door, they will know your staff is happy, and they immediately will feel happy already. When you are happy, everything tastes amazing.
I still feel like, even though that was like so beautiful and kind, I still feel like there was a slight jab at Gen Z in there. I still feel like it was kind of like the newer generation maybe call and say, I don't feel like it today.
Exactly. So that's why there are so many places with a lot of energy. We just need something different to balance.
Yeah. And what about, so you're talking about how we're using automation to create a lot of this calmness and this kind of full circle. What about, because you run other venues that don't have this automation, what advice would you have for cafes that haven't embraced this automation to maybe create this Enso experience?
Nurturing space.
The calmness doesn't come from the machine. I think the technology helps, but it doesn't really come from that. The root comes from, again, yourself and the environment you create. For example, the sensory environment. What's your decor? What's your music? What's the background? How do you put the sittings? Are they just everyone just bouncing into each other? It's really hard to feel calm if you're bouncing everyone all the time. How much space every person have, and the colors of your venue, the energy of your staff, the drinks that you offer, are they intense? Or are they more gentle? So everything about the sensory elements, it's important. And when people sit down, can they see your venue clean? Maybe a lot of corner, they are not. So yeah, this comes from every aspect that as a human that we can sense.
That's such an interesting, it made me just think about like my experience working. There was some cafes I worked at that had like these are the playlists you have to play. And if like the owner came in and had been switched off, they'd be like furious. Like, no, this is not what we're creating here. I feel like in some of the cafes where we were like so busy, like, 1,500, 1,200, 1,500 coffees a day, like going hard, we would want to put on the music that would like help us get through the shift. Energy to like, oh, we're going. But maybe that's not like the experience that this customers want as they're sitting there like, am I in a club? Like, what is happening here? This
it depends on what the venue is about.
Yes,
for some venues, so energetic.
But I feel like we were doing it for our survival as baristas. It wasn't a choice to create that atmosphere. Even if some people liked it, it wasn't an intentional choice for the customers or that. It was like, that'll get us going like quick.
It's an interesting like tension, isn't it? Because you've kind of got, are the staff and the cafe guests having different environmental experiences,
Yes.
or are they merged? And it sounds like the beautiful thing that you've done is kind of created a merged environment where you're all experiencing the same thing, but just playing different roles of like guest or staff.
Yes. Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's just a different style than when we're looking for the staff member who fits in different venue also. They have different energy. So we'll need to, I guess the good tips for operators is also that when you are looking for members who fits in where, in what style, and then they shine the best.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd get a job at Atelier Enso. I don't think
you have Zen within you. All right.
It's like, will this guy shut up?
So you've got multiple venues now. You've got 3, which is amazing. You started with Calēre, which is like quite a small space, very kind of focused, very kind of intentional in terms of its service. And then you opened Chiaki, which is kind of a cafe in the morning, restaurant in the evening. But it's also a partnership, right? It isn't you solo. So you've got 2 incredible partners, right? The Moju and Kentaro Okada.
Kentaro, yes.
Kentaro. And you've just been, as we said, nominated for reigning like Cafe of the Year in Australia, which is incredible. What makes a 3-way partnership like that work? Well, you know, I feel like there's 3 very different kind of, or like strong personalities.
Yeah.
How do they not pull apart?
And for context, we've had like, you know, some big names on this show before just be like, anyone that has a partnership of 3, talk to me in 3 years and how will it be? But you guys are still going strong. So I'm here. I'm happy to hear the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, Chiaki was my first partnership with someone else that is not just solo me. That moment when I wanted to work with other partners because they have the skill set that I don't have, and I admire their work. And for the concept we wanted to create, it requires different skill sets. So these are the 2 amazing people that I'm so lucky to encounter and to work with. So along this 3 years partnership, I think how things can still work tightly together is exactly because of that. We are in different fields of what we are expert in. And then we do have agreement that in each of the field that we're designing for example, Mo is in charge of kitchen, anything with food, he's in charge. We can contribute our thoughts, but the final decision is making from this person in charge. So I'm on the daytime, more on coffee. So these are fully my responsibility. Well, Kentaro was at the time more on sakes and nighttime. And that we actually all have the love for sake and nighttime food. So that was his field. So each of the field, we know that, and we pay respect to each other. That it's your field, you make the last call. Doesn't matter who has better share, but really purely based on the strength of each of us.
And Kentaro, I've got such a man crush on him. He's such a sweetheart. And for those who listening, he's one of the brains behind like the Coffee Weekend program and running all of that. He's got his finger in a million pies as well, doing so many things. He's like the so coolest dude ever. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You've also got Singularity Coffee.
Singularity Coffee is actually not mine, but we work closely together.
Okay.
So he's the Riff. I often call him partner, but not business partner because we actually met at your class, Q grader, at the time in 5 Senses. So at the time, we just chat about we are from China. Have you tried Yunan coffee? And then I'm like, I really want to get some Yunan coffee. That was when I first opened Calēre. And he's like, okay, I can do that. So yeah, bring coffee in. So he's starting to bring coffee in. Amazing selection. We were just like 2 of the really innocent, don't know what, just want to get something here to have fun. So yeah, he imported the first goods and I'm the only customer, the one and the only customer.
and for those who don't know, can you give us a brief rundown on the Yunan coffee and how you started bringing it in and the landscape of it?
Oh, wow. So I think 2020 was the first year I purchased 3 bags at 180 kilo. And it took me so long time to promote them, to sell them. People was like, I don't know, China have coffee. Like, what is that? So it was from a land of nobody knows. They don't know what to expect also. Kind of like I feel very lucky that people trusting us to brew coffee for them. And yes, that's the year one. But then me and Reef have this belief that we just wanted to just keep going. Maybe we don't make money, but let's just keep going and do something for the country back home of ourselves. So yeah, until 2022 maybe, there was a rabbit year. So that year I was just as usual cupping on my whole table for selection of the year, and was just crazy coffee at the end of the table. I'm like, ooh, this is too strong, too fake, too much. And there was with a team of new members and old members. So after that, but at the time I was feeling like, oh, that was my first reaction, that I push it away. But then I sit down and reflect. I'm feeling like as an operator, I should not show my team that this is how you look at coffee. Of course, we have personal preferences, but every coffee have their place to go. They have their home. For our role is not to judging if this is good or bad. It's to how we use it. So at the time, I'm like, this coffee, yes, it's quite intense, but maybe it tastes good with milk. Because it reminds you of me a candy that I eat as I grow up. So straight away, I took the coffee and took some gouache from the table and go to the San Remo in the Calēre and did an espresso and put milk in it. I was like, oh, this is so delicious. It tastes like the white rabbit candy we grow up with. So I was like, this is crazy. Actually, so that was just, I think it happens within half an hour in my mind, just going crazy. And I'm like, maybe we should try. So that was a special release for rabbit. Yeah, I'm like, perfect. That's the timing. So, and then it becomes a staple, and it becomes just so many people sending messages to us that how much they like about how they feel when they drink it, because it brings them childhood memory or just a memory with someone that someone gave them this candy that they connected with the Chinese culture. So it's an initiative that I didn't think it would got to where it is now. Then there's more people have confidence to import, to roast, to sell, and to brew the coffee from my home that where at that time just no one even knows. So it was amazing. Yeah. So Reef bring amazing selection. I do contribute a lot of buying, of purchasing from him, but this is not my business. But I do wanted to promote coffee of China. So I just keep promoting and helping to the point that people thought we are business partner.
And there was a huge like kind of crossover there, right? Because it was like originally it was like a lot of tea growing, but then coffee came back and they kind of started replanting and moving on. So it's kind of been this like really emerging like coffee scene from Yunan.
Yes. I think it's growing crazily, especially during COVID time.
Yeah.
As people need coffee at home. And then as we all know, like Luckin Coffee is a chance. There are a lot of investment now in coffee channel outside in China now. So it's growing. It's amazing to see.
And it's super exciting. If you're listening anywhere around the world and you see Yunan or Chinese coffee on a menu, I would definitely go for it. Check it out, because if it's made its way to you, it's probably like some of the small kind of niche that is high quality specialty coffee. And there's some super interesting stuff there. Yeah. And I've been lucky enough to go twice to Yunan. Once to teach a Q course and once to do a flavor mapping project, which was tasting 400 samples from all around Yunan.
Oh my God.
It was insane. But there's actually quite a bit of diversity. I mean, Yunan as a state or a province is so huge.
Very big, yes.
And there's all of these different kind of regional things and emergent varieties and great quality planting. So it's cool always to come in and see that on your menu.
It's always on the menu. Always have.
Kind of summarizing everything we've talked about today. We've talked about automation mixed with not for speed, but just making life easier for the people working, and about quality and consistency. We've talked about our own well-being and valuing ourselves. We've talked about how to communicate with your staff. But if business owners could take one kind of message away, like one idea, like what would you say is the most important thing right now for any owner operator in the industry?
Look after yourself.
Yeah. I was going to say, coming in, my guess would have been that this whole idea of looking after yourself, looking after your well-being, because it I guess it's also to take care of yourself and for your own life, but it also passes on through the staff, through.
Yeah, just the energy passes through. In China, we have this word called feng shui. If you might all know about feng shui, it's about energies in everywhere. So people, business owner, not necessarily cafe, but general in the world, people are like, oh, what do I need to do with feng shui in my home, in my business? What do I need to put things here or there? But what I believe is that you are the most important feng shui of your business and your all round. So look after yourself, make sure the energy in you is stable, is positive, is happy. Then this energy, it's like a things that goes out. So the great energy will stay with you and the people around you. And what we can only control is ourselves. It's nothing come to you what's predicting the trend. All you can do is just live at this moment and look after yourself.
That is beautiful. And
amazing.
What a nice way to segue straight into an extra hot take with 2 sugars.
Well, I was going to say, it kind of feels like we're on calm, still water. It's not like blazing fire here. But
and that's what I do. I just throw in curveballs and we just switch it up. The energy levels are shifting. No, I mean, obviously, hot take obviously seems like something that's always like, this is grinding my gears. But this can just be like, when it really comes down to it and boils down to it, it's like, what is a feeling or an emotion that you have that might go against the grain that you're feeling about the industry right now? So with that in mind, is there anything that kind of jumps out to you that you've been thinking about?
So many.
Hey.
So many. But I think the first one I would share is from ourselves and also from customers. The confusion of barista equals hand or hand equals craftsmanship. It's not.
Hey, explain a little bit more. Come on, give me some more.
So,
the hand does not mean craftsmanship, or handmade doesn't mean craftsmanship.
If your brand, your heart is not connected to your hand, how does it become craftsmanship? If you are in chaotic, your brain have 1 million things and you can't slow and focus on what you're doing, how can the hand be craftsmanship? Or you are actually a robot? How many robots we have in cafes nowadays human robots, they follow instruction or they don't think, they don't observe because they are so worried. It's so many things to worry and they don't look after themselves. They just worry. So they can't. When you have a angry, grumpy barista using their hand to make your coffee, is that craftsmanship? Versus you have someone having their time, taking their time, dialing their coffee, use great things with intention to let a machine execute what their hand can do. Which one is craftsmanship?
It's a good question. I kind of had something similar. Yours is like a lot deeper and emotionally in touch. Mine is more so like, I can get why some baristas hate the idea of automation or having to be more present in the staff, because some baristas love that, but some baristas are probably like, I've spent years learning how to spin that milk, how to get my god shot, and I want to hide behind the machine and I don't want to talk to anyone. And now the world's telling them they're not going to be able to spin their milk and they're going to actually have to talk to someone. They're like, no, I just want to hide behind my machine and go and pour a little Rosetta. So it's like kind of this whole challenge to them of like, and also like this idea of like, if I get the recipe exact, how many people are not tasting it, but it looks right.
Yes.
I put in the right numbers. So therefore we're good to go, right? And throw it out. Yep. Now we're being challenged to taste more, experience more, understand more, and engage more. It is scary. The role of barista really is changing, and there's a lot of people that are baristas now that probably don't want to be what the modern barista is going to be.
Exactly. So that's why I think in the future there will be so many diverse roles for people who love coffee. When you love coffee, you don't have to be barista. There are so many roles out there. Your career growth can be different because of maybe more automation, more things, your expertise of your years of distributing coffee, your temping, all of this maybe can contribute to making better tour.
Or you can
So
just
you don't
make
have to
it,
talk to people.
or you can just love coffee at home.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, you can just make coffee at home. Yeah, it can be a hobby or an enjoyment versus something that has to be a career.
It's easier than ever to make some of the best coffee in the world. You get more access to the best actual green coffee.
Yes.
You don't need expensive equipment to be able to brew it. There's more information online. It's like, I feel like back in the day with cafes, that was the only place you could go to actually learn and experience that. Whereas now there's so much more knowledge. The best baristas from all over the world are sharing what they feel and think and experience with coffee. We've been drinking, coffees here today where I've been taught by Simon Gothran about, his brewing techniques that he was using in the worlds with different coffees. And so we're trying that out and experiencing that, style. So, maybe just don't be a barista anymore. Anyway, guys,
Is that the key? Well, I think it's a really important point for cafe operators to remember that if they're going to implement some of these changes in automation and things, consider the flow-on effect that it's going to have. Like you're going to force a different mixture of skills necessary to take advantage of that. And how are you managing that change? Do you have the right people? Are they going to be okay in stepping into that different frame of reference? And how do you kind of address
we're talking about hiring before. You're like, I've hired really great people that maybe don't really know much about coffee.
They really don't. Like my key staff or my core staff from the beginning until now, I think there's just one person that was really, a few of them is in coffee, but in my business, they are more of the coffee dialing, coffee management role. But the people who look after the business, none of them come from a professional, amazing barista. No, they are actually all kind, beautiful, positive, looking after people. They are those people.
Well, I was just about to segue into like a section in the show that feels a lot more aligned in terms of giving a shout out, but I feel like this has been one long, beautiful shout out to Alicia's stuff. But is there anyone in particular, Alicia, that you'd like to shine the light on or celebrate who you think doesn't get enough love?
This is too hard. I don't think that there's one particular person I wanted to thank. There are so many people in my career or outside of my career give me so many inspiration. So there's no particular one, but I do wanted to thanks to whoever believe in us, whoever trust us, or whoever challenge us, who dislike us, but coming to my life, our life, to enrich my life experience, and also to all of you that inviting me here to putting a light on what we think that it's important to share. So until now, I think everyone that I encounter, I wanted to shout out to everyone. Thank you so much for being in my journey.
It's like love radiating out. Nice.
And I'm going to give a little shout out and take a page out of your book. I'm going to shout out myself because I value myself. I bring a lot to the table. I'm incredible. I'm beautiful. I'm hilarious.
It's really balanced that out.
I really value myself and I think I'm fantastic. I value myself so much that you guys should stop talking now and I'm going to have the floor for a little bit. No, not at all. We have learned a lot about self-love and value. Take that all aside. I've also great episode because I think there's so many like things here that maybe we don't touch on a lot. And it's just coffee when we talk a lot of stuff. So I think there's a whole new take on things that you can implement within your business, with yourself and with your staff. If people want to find you, we know all the three places. So there's Chiaki, Calēre, there's Atelier Enso, all in Melbourne, all in the local area. So check those out. Where can people find you? Do you have a socials where people can follow you?
Oh, yes. My Instagram, so alicia.meow, which I have 2 cats. So that's me.
Awesome. Well, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with a friend. That always helps us out heaps. If you have any questions, any ideas about automation, automation or anyone you'd like to see on the show, you can always hit us up at hello@itsjustcoffeepod.com or on the socials at It's Just Coffee Podcast. And before we started the episode, Ben was actually telling me, he was like, I have an idea and a name for a cafe. If I was going to start a cafe, he's like, it's quite deep, it's quite spiritual. What was the idea for the cafe name and that you had?
Well, it's inspired by my brother-in-law,
Who doesn't
Joe.
listen to the pod.
Shout out to Joe. Joe definitely listens to the pod.
No, he doesn't.
This is just like straight for Joe. Joe needs to drink decaf, and so this is a chill down, low caf Joe moment.
Oh.
That's going to be my
Low Joe.
Low Joe.
Low Joe.
Low Joe. Low Joe.
Low Joe.
It's straight out for you, Joe. It's going to be the perfect decaf zoned out cafe moment.
My cafe is going to be
My
called
cafe, yes.
Rowan.meow. All right. We'll see you next time, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.